Hi guys, welcome. Day 2, 20 minutes stronger. So again, we're going to time it. I'm going to keep an eye on my watch and make sure I can keep this in 20 minutes. And it's really focused. So in order to get things done in 20 minutes, we need to be very, very focused. And I've brought everything I need, or everything I think I need. So as I said, I'm lucky enough, I've got a studio, I've got weights, I've got equipment. So I have an array of weights here that I know I like to use for the work that we're doing. And the work we're doing is arm strength. So we'll do triceps and biceps, and we'll intersperse that with some core work. I'm a Pilates teacher after all. So I've got a number of different weights. You don't need that. I've been working at this. I've been doing this kind of training for a while. So I am trying to progress to heavier and heavier weights. If you're completely new to using weights, you can use whatever weight you're most comfortable with. You want to start with 1 kilo weights? Go for it. What you're going to try and focus on is keeping your form right and getting used to getting into the habit of using weights and using resistance. So it isn't the same objective that I have. My objective is I've got really I'm a runner. I've always been really good at maintaining a stronger lower body. My upper body, not so much. So I'm really, the last 9 months, I have been really focused on building up my strength in my upper body. So I have progressed to slightly heavier weights, but please do not feel that that's what you need. If you've only got 1 or 2 kilo weights at home, so be it. If you haven't got weights, get some tinned food, as long as they're the same weight. Make sure there's 2 cans of tin beans, they're the same weight, and you can use those. It doesn't matter. 2 bottles of water, absolutely fine. Yeah, we're just getting you started and getting some good habits formed. So don't think I need to go heavy, I'm not doing what she's doing, or I don't have the equipment, I can't do it. You can, just find whatever you've got to hand. Now, I've got notes, because if you're going to do something in 20 minutes, you've got to have an idea of what you want to start with and get on with. Otherwise, you're just always thinking about what you want to do, what you're going to do. So I've got some notes, and I'm going to stick to them, and I want to start with triceps. And for triceps, I'm going to use my 4 kilo weights. You use whatever you've got to hand and whatever you're comfortable with. It's currently 11:50, so I'm trying to do this in 20 minutes. I want to finish by 12:10. So I'm picking up my weights, and we're going to start with a tricep extension. And for this, I'm going to come into a little bit of a semi-squat position and bring my hands in towards my shoulders. So what I'm going to do is open my elbows out, reaching the weights behind me, and bring them back in. So I'm just extending the elbows and bending the elbows. My body is staying completely stable. I'm just working, literally, the only joints working are my elbow joints. And I'm going to do 3 more to do 8. Last one. And I'm going to relax. So I'm going to have about 20 seconds rest in between, 20 to 30 seconds, depending on the exercise. And in that time, if you need a drink of water, if you want to make sure you've got something else to hand that you can use in terms of weights, run out and get them. And when you're ready, you're coming again into that almost halfway to a squat position. So your hips bend, your bum sticks out slightly behind you, your tummy muscles are only gently switched on to support that kind of position, so you're not kind of slouching forward, and you're bringing your hands holding your weights to your shoulders. And again, extend, really controlled movements, and bring them back. Often when I'm teaching, I notice people doing this movement and they're swinging in their arms. Really keep that control. 3 more. So the only things working from a joint perspective are your elbows. 1 last one. Working in terms of moving, and have a little break. Roll the shoulders. And often, I'm not very good at just like having a break. So often I use a little of that time in between to have a little break with rolling the shoulders, a little bit of movement. Or I might do some neck rolls just to get my neck mobilized. And then we'll come back to our last set of tricep extensions. So again, semi-squat position, sticking that bottom out, little bit of tension or activation, I should say, going through your core. Hold the weights, elbows tucked in, reach the arms behind you. I'm doing 8. You do what feels right for you. 5 more for me. And I'm notoriously bad at counting. So if I lose count, it happens often. I'm really bad at it. I don't really care. So I used to care that I lost count. I don't. I'm too busy thinking of my form. When I'm teaching, I'm too busy thinking about other people's forms and correcting them when things go wrong. So we've done tricep extensions, and now we're going to do hammer curls. So for me, this is something I've been working on quite a lot, bicep strength. Because I have teeny weeny wimpy arms. And I'm petite. So with that comes a slightly smaller frame, including my limbs and my arms especially. I have got up to 7 kilos, which I'm pretty proud about. I won't be able to probably do 8, so I will work to fatigue. And if I'm finding it very difficult or I'm finding that I can't continue, I will put the weights down, and for the next set, I'll use a slightly lighter repetition because I've only started with the 7. But you do what's best for you. Again, we're different people. So you're standing, I'm going to stand with my feet slightly wider. So a more athletic stance, about shoulder distance apart. And my knees are soft. And I'm going to bend my elbows to take the weights towards my shoulders, and then I'm going to relax them down. I'm not moving in my spine. So if I demonstrate from the side, I'm trying really hard to keep stable. So I'm not letting my spine lean back as I lift. So I'm going to try and do 2 more. It's quite a challenge for me, the 7 kilos. Just about. And then I'm just going to pop them down and have a little break. And again, because I like to have an active break, I'm not very good at standing still, I'm going to have a little walk on the spot. So that's one heel lifts and then the opposite heel lifts. And it's just a little walk on the spot to keep the legs going. Nice articulation, you can hear my foot cracking there. Nice articulation through the toes, the arches of the feet, the ankles, and really easy mobilization of the joints in the lower body, your hips and knees and ankles as well, of course. And in 5 seconds, I'm going to bend and pick up my weights again. And this is the challenging one for me, hammer curls with 7 kilos. So again, I'm going to work to fatigue. If you've got lighter weights, you might be able to do 10 repetitions. You're just getting used to that position, that form, and getting the work done. It's more important at this point, if you're completely new to exercise and trying to fit it into your day, I would rather you just get used to building the habit, and then we can layer on the extras and the kind of the work with the heavier resistance and the weights. So slightly wider with the legs, and you're standing tall, soft bend, well, soft knees, and you're bending those elbows, keeping still through your spine, and then releasing. Elbows bend and release. And I can always tell my right arm is stronger, my left arm, there's a lot of internal dialogue to get my left elbow to do what it needs to do to lift the weights. So I'm going to aim for 2 more. If I can, probably not. That's it. That's it. I've worked to fatigue. So for me, that's it. If for you, if you're keeping going, great. I'm going to pop my weights down, have a little rest in between, and do a little walk on the spot again. And whilst I'm doing that little walk on the spot, I'm going to have a look. And so far, we've spent 7 minutes training. We're 2 exercises in. Almost finished our second exercise. So we're going to do 1 more set of hammer curls. And again, I'm going to pick up my heavy weights and just work to the point of fatigue. And you pick up the weights you're using, you pick your repetitions, and you work to the point where you feel comfortable, yeah? So we're gonna bend the elbows, bring the tops of those weights to your shoulders, and release. And I'm going to aim for at least one more. That left arm. See if I can do at least a half one. Oh, I've got it this time. And relax back down. Hard one. I'm pretty chuffed. Yeah, I managed to do 3 sets of almost 6. I think one of them I did 5. Have a little shakeout and a slight change of pace for the next one. We're going to do a little bit of core work. I don't want any weights. I'm just going to have a break for my arms, and we're going to come down onto our mat, and we're going to do dead bugs. So if I scoot back and make sure you've got my... I'm always worried about hitting the wall, but I'm quite short. I really should just accept that it's probably not going to happen. So legs in a double knee fold. That means your legs, both legs are coming up. Some people call this a tabletop position. Where I trained with body control Pilates, this is a double knee fold. And your legs are hip width apart. Nod the chin and curl up and take your hands on the sides of your shins. And actually, I've told a lie. Reach your arms to the ceiling. So you're holding your curl up, and you're going to take your left leg, press it forward, your right arm reaches back. And then come back to the top, and right leg stretches forward, left arm reaches back. We're going to do 8 to each side. Holding that curl up. Now again, if you're somebody that has a pelvic floor prolapse or osteoporosis, I wouldn't do dead bugs. So if you've started, please stop. And one more to each side. What you can do instead is a starfish, which is similar type of coordination of opposite arm and leg, but you're keeping your foot down, you're not in a curl up. You're sliding one leg away, the opposite arm comes up and overhead, and then you bring the arm back and the leg back. And you do the same on the opposite side. You're not in a curl up, but you're keeping your pelvis and your spine stable, and you're watching that your lower ribs don't lift up to the ceiling as you reach the arm back. So that's for anybody with osteoporosis or a pelvic floor issue. Now, once we've done that, we're back to getting our weights. And what I want us to do is I'm going to use the red weights. We are going to come into a skull crusher exercise. So I'm going to lie down, just change scene a little bit. I'm going to use my red weight, which is 4 kilos. I call them by color when I'm telling people in class what weights I want them to use. You're going to reach that. I'm holding my 4 kilo weight in my right hand, and I'm reaching my arm to the ceiling. Again, if you're holding a water bottle instead of a weight, absolutely fine. If you're holding 1 kilo instead of 4, absolutely fine. You're going to keep that arm reaching for the ceiling, and my palm is facing inward. And I'm holding my right elbow with my left hand. And the only reason I do that is to just guide my arm a little bit if I needed to. And I'm going to bend my right elbow so it points to the ceiling as the weight comes towards the side of my face, and then I'm pressing the arm back up. I'm going to bend that right elbow, points to the ceiling, the weight comes beside my face. Really key it doesn't come onto your face, that would be pretty painful and messy. 5 more. One more, and then we're going to change sides. So I'm very, very much a right-handed person, and I'm moving now, holding 4 kilos in my left hand. So I've worked up to this. Again, I started with a very low weight, probably about 2 if I remember, and 4 kilos on my left is still a challenge, not initially. So I start off quite strong. And then what you'll probably notice is when we come to the third or even the second set, I start to struggle. And it's my weaker arm. 2 more. And then relax back down. We're going to have a little break, 30 seconds, just a little rest. And again, if you want to fill that break with something, if you're not good at just pausing, you can just bring your right leg into a knee fold, hold the back of that leg and have a little stretch. Reach the foot to the ceiling and flex and point that foot a few times. And then bend that right knee, bring the leg down. We're going to go back to our skull crusher and do the same with the left leg after this set. So you're going to reach that right arm to the ceiling, hold the elbow, and I mean, you don't have to, but if I've just got into that habit. And you're going to bend the elbow to point to the ceiling and take the weight towards the side of your face. And you're doing 6 more. If you started with me, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then once you've done that last one, you're switching over to the opposite side. So hold that elbow if you want to, and you're bending the left elbow to point it at the ceiling and then reach up. And with most movements that I teach, in terms of, whether it's strength-based training or Pilates, the slower you go, the more you can actually feel what is going on and the more difficult it is. I got one more to do here and I'm already starting to feel a fatigue on the left. So now I'm going to have that little rest and give my left leg a chance to have a stretch as well. So into a knee fold with that left leg, and I'm holding the back of the thigh and I'm just flexing and pointing my foot. So a nice little bit of ankle mobilization, a nice little bit of a stretch through the back of my leg and my calves. And then you're going to bring that leg down. And last set for your skull crusher. Reach the arm up to the ceiling, hold the elbow, and you're going to bend the elbow, take the weight towards the side of your face and lift back up. Four more if you can. And I always say if you can, because we are all so different. And not only are we different from each other, our bodies are different day to day. One last one. And I can say that, some days I've got loads of energy and I'll go out for a run and it feels great. But then I'll do my weight training and that feels harder on another day. Or, one week I feel like I've had the best sleep and I feel like everything should be, all singing and dancing. But for some reason, things just feel a little bit harder. And it may be stress levels, it may be lots of commitments. I'm going to try and do 2 more here. Definitely feeling it harder on that left side. And I have to make an effort to punch it up to the ceiling. And we are going to have a little change of scene again. So we are now, we haven't got that much time. So we're going to go back to standing and we're going to pick up, if you've got option for weights, you're going to pick up a slightly lighter weight for this version of bicep curls. So we're coming up to standing. I've opted for 5 kilos. Again, 1 kilo, 2, whatever you've got handy. Slightly wider step. We've got 1 exercise to go to kind of fit that 20-minute mark. So we're going to come into a bicep curl with the palms facing forward this time. And then turn the palms forward and lower them down. Palms turn forward again. Bend the elbows, bring the arms up. Palms turn forward and bring them down. I'm going to go for 8, maybe 10. I'll see how I feel. A really nice way to learn that control on the way down with gravity pulling your arms down. Last one. Good. And pop the weights down and have a little shakeout. We've got about 4 minutes. I did a little bit of talking at the beginning, so I'm going to give myself 4 minutes. We're going to do 2 more sets and then you're done. So I added a little bit of core work with the dead bugs, and I did want to do something else, but actually it turns out we didn't have the time. That's fine. If you wanted to add core work, you could. If you had more time, if you didn't, you don't have to. And we're gonna pick up the weights again. Slightly wider with the feet, soft knees. And again, palms face forward. You do that classic bicep curl, palms forward again, lower down with control. Again, 6 to 8 more. And remember to breathe as you're exercising and at all times, really. Good. I'm going to try and do 2 more. And one last one for me. And then have a little break. Have a little shake out. And I'm going to use the break to do just a few heel raises. Just kind of reset my body. Get those calves working, really important part of our anatomy for blood flow and for leg strength. I'm just going to do 2 more now, 2 more calf raises. And I lost a little bit of balance on that last one, and pick up the weights again. Again, weights in hand, last set, bicep curls, and you're done. 20 minutes, arms done. So palms forward, bend the elbows, palms forward again, lower the arms. I'm going to do 3 more. Two, 1. And then relax, have a little shake out, and we are done. That was 20 minutes. A little bit of chatting in the beginning, 22 minutes on the clock for me, but hopefully you can see that you can fit things in. So hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you next time.